In this video today, I'm going to be showcasing the minimal requirements, gear, and inventory you need to be able to AFK nightmare creatures. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you guys know when I upload methods like this next. So if this is interesting to you guys, make sure you stay tuned. Let's dive in. As for the requirements, you will need at least level 80 Slayer to be able to do any kind of damage to the nightmare creatures. After that, we're going to want to have 90 plus combat skills. We will be using Necromancy for this setup, so 90 Necro, 90 Constitution, and 90 Defense. 84 plus Invention, so you can perk out your gear. I do suggest having 107 plus Herblore so you can have your Elder Overload salves, but a Holy Overload will work with this method. It's just the salves help regenerate your prayer every use you use them. 76 plus 70, we will be using a Blood Reaver Familiar. 97 plus Archaeology for the Relic Powers, we will talk about here in a little bit. And a full Necromancy tree unlocked for the Revo Bar we will be using. As for the quests, I am sorry to say you will need to get at least Children of the Maw completed in order to be able to fight the nightmare creatures. And then you're going to want to also have Dwarf Cannon quest completed in order to have your cannon. Now for the recommendations, I highly recommend having 112 plus Invention so you can create potion reservoirs so you can make this a super AFKable method. After that, restocking cannon perk from the Artisan Workshop is super useful so you don't ever have to run over to your cannon every 5 minutes to make it to shoot out again. Grace of the Elves is a very niche thing for you. If you want to collect all of the spines, bring Grace of the Elves since you cannot note them inside of your inventory. So every time you pick them up while wearing the Grace of the Elves, they'll be transferred straight to your bank. Now, finally, I want to suggest to turn down your audio because these things get annoying super quick. Now, what you can expect while AFKing nightmare creatures is about 1.2 million combat XP per hour, being 800,000 going to Necromancy, 300,000 going to Constitution, and 145,000 going to your defense. Now, if you're going to be using wild cards for your Slayer, you can expect about 900,000 XP per hour fighting nightmare creatures, but I don't suggest that being the number if you're going to be running back and forth from a Slayer Master, as that does take some time to get done to be able to come back to the World Gate and run up to the ritual site. And after all of your expenses, you can expect about 17 million GP per hour. As for the minimal gear that you want to be using, will be the tier 90 Death Warden set. For the aura, we will be using a Vampirism aura since it will help us gain all the heals back. For the cape, we will be using a max cape. You don't need a Zuck cape for this for the simple fact that we are not going to be using Death Skulls in our Revo Barb. For the necklace, we do have a Demon Horn necklace, which I'll explain on the inventory side. For the ring, I have the luck of the dwarves since you never know how lucky you can get with drops, but you can bring a Reaver's ring just in case if you need some more DPS. For our ammo slot, I do have a Grasping Rune pouch in there. Not going to be using any runes inside of it, but it does give me an additional prayer bonus. For the weapons, I will be using the tier 90 weapons. And in the pocket slot, I will be using the Scripture of When God book active. As for the inventory, I have my potion reservoirs, Elder Overload salves to go inside of them, magic notepaper since they do drop a lot of battle axes that you want to note over time. Weapon poison plus. Now I do have some metallic dragon trinkets, so it's a quick teleport to the world's gate. Don't have to use it. You can always go to Eagle's Peak Lodestone and run south to the world gate. After that, I have a bunch of cannonballs since you're going to be using them to aggro them all to you along with a cannon. Now I have a nexus that holds all of my ectoplasms and my necromancy runes we will be using with the method. After that, we have a Blood Reaver Familiar, the Bone Crusher, which goes hand in hand with the Demon Horn to sustain your prayer. A lot of alchables are dropped by nightmares, so it is mandatory for you to bring a Spring Cleaner here. After that, we also have our Enhanced Excalibur and the Ancient Elven Ritual Shard in case something wanted to go a little south. Now, the perks I was using for this method, for the Skull Lantern, I was using the Eruptive 4. For the Death Guard, I was using Aftershock 2. Death Warden top, I had Enhanced Devoted 4 on there since we will be using Deflect Range. For the Robe bottom, Crystal Shield 4 and Absorbative 4, I like using on anything I like to AFK since it does negate damage a lot over time. The Relic Powers I was using was Fury of the Small, Berserker's Fury, Death Ward. The reason why we have Fury the Small here is because we're going to be using Scythe in our Revo bar, and you want to be able to gain as much adrenaline as possible to be able to get that off as soon as possible. Berserker's Fury is on here because sometimes you will hit about half health, so more damage equals more kills per hour, and Death Ward is on here as well. Since you will be hitting around the half health, you'll gain that 10% additional damage reduction while they're attacking you. As for the Revolution bar, we will be using Conjure Army, Soul Sap, Resonance, Command Ghost, Scythe, Command Guardian Phantom, Blood Siphon, and Soul Sap. Now this Revolution bar does help sustain your HP over time, along with negating some damage with the Resonance ability being up in the front. Now they are stunnable, so if you want, you can easily put the Soul Strike ability further up into it, but you want to try to make sure your Blood Siphon gets off and your Phantom Guardian does get commanded, so you can do a bunch of AoE damage as well. Now, once you're ready, all you have to do is just teleport to the World's Gate. Like I said, I like using the Metallic Dragon Trinkets. Teleport using the Ruined Dragons, and it will take you straight to the World Gate. So then you're going to right-click Quick Dial, you're going to hit Fresniak, and then you're just going to left-click World Gate and enter the Ritual Site. Now, once you make it in, I highly suggest at least summoning your Blood Reaver right now as you run up to the Nightmare creatures, because when you're in the ritual spot, you are not able to summon. It just says that there's not enough space to be able to summon your familiar, so you want to be able to run up while summoning your familiar. Now, where you see me standing on the ritual markings, you want to place your cannon. You're not able to place it anywhere else on the markings at all, and this is when you get everything activated: your Vampirism Aura, your God Book, your Potion Reservoirs with the Elder Overload Salve in it, your Weapon Poison +++. Then you're going to hit Deflect Range along with the Sorrow ability, and then you're going to activate your cannon, and you're going to stand exactly where you see me standing, not too far back and not too far forward, because then they all bundle up in one single tile to where all of your Revolution bar abilities do hit them. Now, you can expect about 700 kills per hour doing this method with the minimal gear. Now, if you went in with your first Necromancer set or a Death Dealer set with the tier 95 weapons, you can push about 800 to 850 kills per hour while doing this method, exactly with the same setup, just with different gear and higher tier gear. After 1 hour of Nightmare Creatures, I got about 21.5 million GP in that hour. That's also including the salvages being done by the Spring Cleaner and my gold accumulator picking up coins. Now, I did gain about 350 Elder Charms during that hour. Now, if you picked up all of the spines, you can use your Elder Energies to be able to make more pouches to be able to sell on the GE, but I find that to be a little bit more cost effective, and your GP per hour will drop. Now, you will notice in my inventory, I did get lucky with the Nightmare Gauntlets, but I wouldn't hold my breath for them since they are a 1 in 10,000 drop rate off task, which we are doing on this method. But if you were to get those, they do go for about 14 million GP inside of the GE. Now, the only things you have to pay attention to is your Potion Reservoir, which is every 36 minutes, your Weapon Poison +++, which is every 12 minutes. Now, here is the thing: if you feel like you're taking a lot of damage, you can use the Darkness Incantation here. Of course, it does eat into your profits a little bit over your hour, and that's also another thing that you have to pay attention to every 12 minutes. But that does come an end to this video. If you guys found anything useful or interesting, make sure to hit that like button. If you guys are brand new to this channel and would like to see more money making AFK guides like this, make sure to hit that sub button, hit that notification bell so you guys know when I upload next. But until next time, guys, I hope you stay safe. See ya.